So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward.
You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my
Tell
God. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion.
Amanda Seals will get cooked. Somebody should have a new dish called Amanda Seals because she getting cooked. I'm talking about filet mignon cooked. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. TatumStore.com, so make sure you check out our store. Put capital with an AL, capital 20 to get 20% off. Get you one of these shirts today. Support what we're doing at the Capitol building. When I say support, meaning wear your support. And so you can show these leftists that it is appropriate and it's reasonable for us to protect the Capitol and make it safe again. So get you one of these shirts today, 20% off. And also we have a whole bunch of other bundles that we're doing. So go on and visit TatumStore.com. I thought Jubilee had started a culinary art school the way they were cooking was going on this show. Amanda Seals will get cooked. Somebody should have a new dish called Amanda Seals because she getting cooked. I'm talking about filet mignon cooked, which ain't cooked that much. I like it medium rare. I don't know about y'all. Any steak that's well done, that's a sin. That you go in hell, you eat your steak well done. But Amanda Seals, look at her. She looks insufferable. And Lord knows she is insufferable. I cannot listen to her talk for 30 seconds without me wanting to pull my hair out one by one and put a razor blades and then put salt on the top of it. That's how I'd rather do that than listen to Amanda Seals talk. But thank God she decided to go on this show because every black conservative raked her over the coals. Well, let me go to the dude that ran to the chair. Whichever clip that is, the guy that ran to the chair. That's when I knew that he was getting ready to cook right there. This one? By the way he ran to that chair, I said he getting ready to cook. Roll the clip. Roll it.
So you say that black on
black. Hold on, go back. That's my favorite part. Hold on. If my brain was a person, this is how my brain reacts every time I hear an insufferable leftist. It's like, I can't wait to run and just dismantle them. Roll the clip. That's Brandon Brain right there. Watch out. I got this. Hold on.
So you say that black on black crime is due to underfunding and over-policing, essentially. Yes. I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those. Okay. I think that, however, the government, who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the black community? Should that be something that the government should step into, or should that be something that we as black people need to handle ourselves? Dr. Jordan Peterson and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root causes leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. We live in a patriarchal system. Like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision-making, especially when we focus on the black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So therefore...
So it's marriage?
Well, that's a part of it. Marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era. Prior to 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. That was when we were economically at our poorest.
Exhibit B, roll it.
My final claim is black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class.
ABL, boy, hold on, shout it. That's ABL. Yeah. Anthony Brian Logan. Come on, man. Let's see what Anthony Brian Logan got to say. Roll the clip.
Okay, talk to me.
Let's go,
I think
ABL.
Black conservatives, we're the ones who really want the best for working people.
Oh.
I think we're the ones. Like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, they want us to do things like office work. They want us to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and work. Go out there and get these jobs that are available. Work with your hands, do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about, skilled trades. So working class, that's really a Black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
I would beg to disagree. I think that would be true if Black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union. So for instance, like in the South, right? I just left North Carolina where I met with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage. And then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, you know, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, et cetera, I think that is valid, but I think that the impediments by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as Black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's 22 years old. He has a bunch of kids living with him. He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay,
yeah.
being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, building things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations. You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against unions? But are you for them now?
I never said that.
Oh, so you're for unions?
Absolutely.
So when the unions keep Black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they've done, keep Black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for that. The reality is that unions have definitely in the beginning kept Black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping Black folks out is because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these Black people that had been used with free labor and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, if you will, because they didn't have slaves, they had to go and learn all these trades.
Right.
And so they actively kept Black people out of those jobs. And then what they would do is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the Black people would be like, well, we'll work because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them. They would lynch them. So yes.
Time out. They just be making up stuff. Everybody that went for those jobs when the unions would strike, they would get hung by people. Roll the clip.
Sari, my question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything that needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you want to help Black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised because, let's be clear, everybody in here is Black. We all American, we all got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider Black people equal. And it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of Black people as a labor force in this nation. Back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave
People
labor
falling
in
asleep
prisons.
on her, boy.
So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today, it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system.
It's hard to even listen to this girl. I got to jump in here. First and foremost, reparations logistically is almost impossible, because if you're going to give any Black person any substantive amount of money, it's going to be probably $1 trillion. Trillions. There's 40 million Black people that live in America, right? 40 million. How much money do you think people are going to accept as reparations? 40 million Black people. Let's do some math real quick. 40 million. Hold on, let me get the million up there. How much you think they're going to give a Black person that make any sense? If you gave 40 million Black people $10, that you already at 400 million, right? You gave 40 million Black people $100, you at 4 billion already. That's 100. You give them 1,000, you at 40 billion. You give them 10,000, you at 400 billion. I mean, how much? $10,000 gone in I don't know, 2 days? No, realistically, I think the average person probably can go through $10,000 in, I don't know, 3 months. You give them 100,000? That's $4 trillion. So where are we going to get $4 trillion to give each Black person 100,000? And 100,000 don't last. But think about it. Somebody that's doing really well in life makes $100,000 a year. I think that's really good. Average earning income is 50,000. So that lasts you 2 years. The country is going to go in debt $4 trillion for people to live for 2 years. That's not going to do anything for anybody. And then who's going to pay for it? Bring dummy back on the screen. Who's going to pay for it? Black people are going to contribute to $4 trillion in taxes just to pay themselves back $100,000. Yeah, you can't. Like, what are we even saying? What are we even saying? And then let's do this. They don't want Black people. They claim that Black people cannot get identification enough to vote. How are they going to determine if you're really a descendant of slaves or not? Now, what kind of resource and money are we going to spend to do DNA tests to determine if each Black person that qualify or that apply will qualify for benefits of being a descendant from Africa or descendants from slaves? Are they going to spend another $800 billion to try to get everybody tested? And then how long is it going to last? Is it generational, or is it everybody that's currently alive today? It's just stupid. It's never going to work. I wrote a clip. Is she talking most of the time or not? Well, give me the next person. I'm sorry to do you like this, ABL. Maybe we'll do you better next time. Wrote a clip.
Conversation with a beautiful Black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the Black community would be the stopping of violence, especially Black on Black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that Black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie. They lie all the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of Black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you really believe
I'm telling
this?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary.
Oh my God,
you
this
need
is
to think
facts.
about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
Okay.
Okay. So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist, and stating that it
Pause it
doesn't.
real quick. Here's the fact check that's on the screen right now. It says redlining is the practice of denying mortgage to those who live in neighborhoods considered risky. Lenders targeted black and immigrant communities in urban areas. The practice was outlawed in 1964. The Jubilee's testimony to this is not true. It is not true. Go. I employ every single person that's watching this. Go and do your research about redlining. And I did a whole thing about this. But the redlining that they claim now wasn't even in practice back when they claimed redlining was happening. They had high-risk areas which the government supported more than other areas. They listed areas as red areas that were higher risk, and in many government programs, except for one, allotted more money for black people, gave them more benefits to buy homes in red areas. So the redlining technically, out of 3 government companies or 3 government campaigns, you could say, only one showed discriminatory behavior against black people. The other 2 helped people and disproportionately helped black people in red areas. Now, let's put this in perspective, and you can look this up. In these red areas, that's why they called it redlining, because it was areas that needed more help. There were more white people that lived in the red areas than black people did. So when they talk about redlining, they were redlining based on poverty numbers. More white people were in the red line areas than blacks. Why are they not talking about that? Then when you look at it as well, they disproportionately helped the black people who were in the red areas more so than the ones who were outside of the red areas. So when you go and look at redlining, you say that's not the totality of circumstances. It wasn't just that lenders said we're not going to lend to black people. There were high risk areas that people that could not afford to pay the lending money. And so they were risk averse to giving certain loans to these people. But the government stepped in and helped them. And it's only one. I wish I had the stuff in front of me. I don't remember all the names. But if you go and look it up, there was one government program that did discriminate. And it was proven discrimination. That's one. The other 2 campaigns were all effectively helping black people who had homes to help them refinance or remortgage their home or refinance their homes. And it was other programs that help black people get homes for the first time. And so there's a lot of stuff in there that I think that they are not articulating clearly. Wrote a clip.
Exists doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline or we can use their free labor, then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
reparations.
Hold on,
actually, no. Let me land the plane. Yeah. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, black people built this country and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one
No,
point that I wanted to
answer the
say?
question.
Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority.
Okay.
Please return to your seat.
I gotta debunk this redline thing. It's gonna bother me. But just go ahead. We'll watch this clip and then I'm gonna get to the redlining thing.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are
mom.
you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really? Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery. And they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believed that there would be a future where there would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad. Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
Come on in.
You know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir,
it's
that's simply not true.
If
that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture. Black culture is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, a debate has to be in facts.
You're putting off emotional liberalism right now.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off founded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they
It
did the
is
misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look at this
conservatives
man.
did. They said
You're carrying
misinformation.
a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and
What about the
non-Jewish
apartheid-
people.
Time out. God dang it. The dude went to Israel and had a coin, and he wore it around his neck because he liked the coin from Israel, which is where Jesus came from. So if you're a Christian and you have any admonishment of the land in the state of Israel, somehow you're a problem. Then this woman said an apartheid state that actively is against black people. You can't be that stupid. What does Israel got to do with black people? I was in Israel. Ain't nobody had nothing negative to say about me. What are we saying here? Anyway, let me let her finish. Apartheid state. Shut the front door. Roll the clip.
Let me bring it
What
back.
about when
Let
black
me bring
people
it
were
back.
selling black people
Let me
in
bring
Africa?
it. That was not happening
and
in
put
the
them
context that
cages,
you're saying.
And they were selling
Let's
their
bring
own
it
people.
back.
Black people still sell
Okay.
their own people today too. By
I don't
the
know
way,
if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own
I
people
can't-
today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna
You probably
last.
won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so
See,
overwhelming.
y'all, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting
it's
defeated
not
in an
name
argument.
calling. You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine if they don't let me come
You
back
won't
up.
even.
I made my
you won't.
point.
You didn't make your
I
point.
made my point.
You haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started off saying we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should
That-
people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home
giving
playing a video
checks?
game?
But
Are you
no, the
sitting at
people that
home
they-
playing a video game?
The people that they wanted
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for-
playing a video game? No.
The people
and
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for-
know who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the black community
Hold on, time out.
is not sitting.
The argument that slaves didn't get paid is the stupidest argument ever. They're slaves. Slaves don't get paid for their work. Their payment is survival, meaning they get fed and they get housed and they work. That's their payment. Now, if you want to say slavery is wrong, then okay. But you cannot act like a slave deserves to be getting paid a fair wage. Then they wouldn't be a slave. These people were slaves. It was a legal process. We disagree with it today. We think it's barbaric today, but slavery was legal. And so you don't owe people who were slaves anything. As a gesture to generations from slavery, you can give people money to get a leg up in society where they have been made whole, but you can't act like slaves deserve a living wage. They were actually slaves, and people actually had to spend money to purchase them and provide for them and do all the other stuff that is necessary to keep human beings alive. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what it is. And to make the argument that did they get paid for what I wish the young man, it's kind of hard to do this on the spot, but the young man should have said slaves don't, that is a moot point. That's a straw man argument. Slaves don't get money. They're slaves. That's like saying the people in prison, but you're in prison, bro. You don't get a chance to work and do things. You're in prison. You don't somehow, if you get let out, you get reparations for being in prison. You were in prison. And black people have gotten many programs and handouts that supersede reparations by far. Affirmative action. That's a form of reparations. All the other stuff that black people get. You get benefits of being a black-owned business. I mean, all of these different things that black people get, that's a form of reparations. And anyway, I could keep going. I mean, here you go. Somebody said you are wrong, slaves were paid. Yes, some slaves were paid, right? Harriet Tubman had a job. She was able to work and be a slave, and she was married. Harriet Tubman was not getting paid. I mean, so there are some people that were slaves that weren't getting paid. Right? You're not going to get paid as a slave. You have nowhere to spend the money. You are somebody's property. So there were slaves that were not getting paid. The payment was feeding you and keeping you alive. Then there were our slaves that could go and work and make a living for themselves. So you could say that. Then there were some slaves that, you owned them, but they could live on their own and do other stuff like that. Like Harriet Tubman, she was married to a man that was free and they lived together. Make that make sense. So she would go to work. She would come home, her husband would go to work, he would make money, but she, by law, was a slave to this guy, and eventually she would have been made free. Some of her family members had been made free. Maybe her husband could purchase her freedom. So it's dynamic. Not everybody was on a plantation picking cotton. You know, there were some people that were slaves, like today, the service industry is almost like slavery in some cases, where a person is serving. So some of these people were slaves to serve. But anyway, roll the clip.
At home playing video games.
The majority of the black
Where are you
community is
getting
doing a
that
lot of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause. You've been voted out.
So he got voted off. I think that was the last one, right? That was the last clip. I have never heard anybody articulate the perspective of why they are not African American. I've never heard anybody articulate it as clear and concise as Raven-Symoné did in a minute and 20 seconds. Roll the clip.
To eat my own words and apologize.
Oh, what'd you say about me?
That interview you did with Oprah, where she asked you if you were,
Yeah.
African American or whatever. And
You got mad at me?
Listen.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom, make money and pay taxes and generationally live in a country, you have the privilege to call yourself pure American.
How do people not get that? Like, why do we have to be others in this country? And we were here from nearly the foundation of this country. Like, Black people have been here from the foundation before 1776. Black people have been here way before that. We were British colonies. Like, Black people have been here way before that, 1600s. And to be honest, the natives and Africans have been doing business for thousands of years before even Christopher Columbus came here. But Black people have been a part of this from almost the very beginning. The first legal slave owner was a Black man. I do not understand how on planet Earth we still argue about the African American thing. We should be called Americans. You know, it all started from white supremacy, which Black people still hold true to white supremacy, although white people have let it go. White people are saying, for the most part, the conservative whites are saying, we all American. Black people are like, no, we not. Well, wait a minute. The white supremacists wanted you not to be an American, wanted only white people to be American. Everybody else to be other. Just like the mixed kids. When you mix kids, they want the mixed kids to be Black, and they can't have any white heritage. And dumb Negroes and others buy into the white supremacist trope or the white supremacist theology. I don't know if they know it or not. It's stupid. I'm an American. When I go to Israel, I'm not Black in Israel. I'm an American. I'm not Israeli. I'm an American. When I go to China or something, I never go to China. But when I go somewhere else, like when I go to Europe, what am I? I'm an American, because there's other Black people in Europe. But the difference is I'm an American and they're European. When I go to Canada, which I didn't think any Black people lived in Canada, but I guess they do. I'm not Black like you. I'm an American. You're Canadian. We are not the same. Now, I'm not saying we better than Canadians. I'm not saying that yet. I'm not saying that. I do think we're better, not as individuals, but as a country. I think we're better than Canada. I think Canadians would agree with me. But as individuals, bro, at the end of the day, when you going around the world, you're like, no, that person's American. Duh.